So basically, a lot of people always ask me how I do my makeup, blah, 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 and I always tell you guys I'm gonna start making videos. So this is gonna be my first video, and I'm gonna just show y'all how I fill in my brows. Now, I just got out of the shower, so I washed my face, of course, and I moisturized it. I put some primer on it. I got a sparkle right there. So that's why my face looks a little greasy and some blistex on my lips, but that's besides the point because we're talking about eyebrows. These are my natural eyebrows. They're pretty nice, but you know, they could always look better. So I start by using this little brush right here. It's kind of raggedy, so don't judge me, but I just brush it with this side just to make sure that every hair is where it's supposed to be. So I brush them upwards, and then some hairs are a little bit longer on the top, if you can see that. So I kind of just brush them over to kind of start with a nice shape. And I do the same thing to the other one. This one is a little bit thicker than this one in general. And when I fill it, a lot of people try to do their eyebrows so perfect, but I feel like, I don't know if y'all ever heard that saying, but they need to look like sisters, not like twins. My eyebrows do not look exactly the same naturally, so I'm not going to make them look exactly the same when I fill them in. Now what I'm doing is I just use powder. Once again, this is raggedy. I had it forever. All it is dark brown powder, black powder, and wax. I don't use the wax because I don't need it, in my opinion. Some people do use it. I don't use the black because my skin is too light. Only reason I would use the black is if it was like a really dark skinned person, because brown wouldn't really show up on them. So I just use the brown. And this is Take a Brow by Lorac. And it's like $20. But it's, once again, it's just brown powder. So literally, if you have some dark brown eyeshadow, you could use that. You could get some cheap, like $2 at Walgreens. So I use this little angled brush. And this is from Therapeutics. And they sell it at Kohl's. It was like $8 for like a pack of brushes. And I just dip the brush in the powder lightly, knock the excess off, and what I'm basically going to do is trace my eyebrow underneath. Let me get a little bit close so y'all can see. I start in the front and I just trace. Sometimes I go a little bit lower if my hair is growing out bad, but it's not that bad. So you just trace it right under your natural brow. So you see that looks crazy, but I'm gonna fix it. I like the tail of my brow, which is this part, to be really dark. So I'll go ahead and fill that whole thing in. Once again, you're tracing. So I'm not going super, you know, above my brow, super under my brow. I'm going right where my actual brow starts because I want to look like myself. I don't want to look like a whole totally different person when I'm done. So I'm going to accentuate the features that I already have. I'm not going to make my brows bigger or smaller. I'm going to make them basically the same size that they are. So all I'm going to do is fill in that tail. Make it nice and dark. And I'm not going to add any more makeup to the brush. And then for the rest of the brow, just gonna blend it upwards. You don't need any extra product. Just use that product that you already have and blend it upwards. Because you don't want your whole brow to be all black and dark like the tail. So just blend it upwards. And I went a little too far down right here. But you see? So it's already looking kind of nice. And I didn't put any more on there. I'm just blending what I got. And I don't know how to do all that editing stuff yet. So y'all just gonna have to hear my voice. My voice is a little bit annoying. A little nasally, but Y'all want to look on fleek, so deal with it. Okay, now that tail, like the very end of it, I feel like it could look a little bit darker, so I'm gonna just tap my brush in the powder one more time, very little. Make that tail darker. That's better to me. So then sometimes, not all the time, I go back in with my little brush and just brush it, you know, so the product doesn't look so heavy. And this brush came with this brush. It's actually a couple of them, but I got like maybe 5-6 brushes for $8, so these are really good. Earth Therapeutics at Kohl's. So y'all see how my brow is looking so far, right? Some people would just leave it like this, but I want it to be a little bit more defined, so I'm gonna go back in. Hold on, let me just. I'm gonna go back in with some concealer. And where's the brush I use also came with those brushes I just showed you. It's Earth Therapeutics. It's a concealer brush. So I'm gonna use this. A lot of people use those little boxed out brushes. It's like this, but like with the thing cut right here. This works for me. I mean, I don't need to. I just make it do what it do. Let me find my concealer. Alright. So this is the concealer I use. I don't know which way y'all gonna be able to read it, so I'm gonna do it both ways. This is LA Girl Pro. I know y'all heard about this concealer. It's cheap and it's good. $2.99. Your eyebrows could be on fleek for under $10. Ooh. So I just take a little bit of the concealer, put it on my brush, on the tip of my brush. You don't want too much because you need it to be smooth when you're trying to define your brow. So I took that little bit of concealer, and all I'm gonna do is similar to what I did when I was filling in my brow, is trace underneath. So start right at the base and trace right underneath. I messed up a little bit. Trying to make sure y'all can see and I'm messing up. But I could fix it. All I'm doing is tracing underneath. And it can get a little bit tricky depending on how you hold in your brush, because you can block your vision if you hold it like I hold it, which was like this. So maybe for beginners, doing it more like this will help. But you do want to make sure those lines are nice and sharp. So I traced underneath, like I said. And this is the color Toffee. A lot of people with their eyebrows, they use super light colors. And that's just not me. Like, I want it. I mean, you're going to know I have makeup on, but you shouldn't know unless I want you to know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do the crazy extra 20 tones lighter than my skin eyebrows, because it's just too much for me. So I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. Then I take this brush, which is Real Techniques. I think it's called a dome brush, and I got this from Kohl's too, because Kohl's is real affordable and they always have coupons, and you can use coupons on the brushes. So this is like a dome brush. It came in a set too. I think that set was like $12 and it was a whole bunch of eyeshadow brushes, but this is a dome brush, I believe. And I just take this and I blend out under my brow. So where the concealer was or is, you want to blend it. You don't want to have a streak of concealer, because that don't look natural. That don't look nice. And if you're a person who only going to do eyebrows, you need to make sure they're on fleek. So, blended it out. that's pretty much my finished look, my finished little result. Sometimes I'll go in and mess with my brows a little bit. But once again, a lot of people go and they like trace, you know, the top to make it, I guess, like super defined. But that's too much for me. Once again, like, I want it to look a little more natural. And this till is not giving me life, so I need to go back in with a little bit of this and make it a little bit more darker. Okay, I think that looks a little bit better. But y'all see the difference between one brow and the other. That's my natural brow. It's my filled in brow. So this one is more on fleek. Now I'm gonna do the other one. I don't even know if y'all want to watch this again, but guess what? Y'all gonna watch it again. So take a little bit of the powder. Once again, this one was $20. You do not need a $20 one. I could do the same thing with a brown eyeshadow. So if you have brown eyeshadow, like a darker brown, use that. Dip it in your little angled brush. Then trace underneath your brow. Like I was telling y'all, this one is a little bit thicker than that one just because the lady who waxed my brows did it that way. So they're not going to be exactly alike, but I don't mind it. If you want to make yours exactly alike, you can, but that's not what I do. So I just trace, and then like if I get, I don't know if you guys can see it, but my eyebrows are growing in. It's a difference between this one being thicker and this one growing in. It's growing in because it needs to be waxed. So I'm not necessarily going to trace where that hair is that's growing in. I'm going to follow where, you know, the thickest hair is, like how it was when the lady waxed it. Because if I follow where my brows are growing in, I'm going to look like a werewolf. And they're going to be like double the size because my eyebrows kind of thick. They nice, but they're thick. So, y'all know I like the little tail nice and full. So I'm just making that nice and full. It's my thick eyebrow. Making the tail full. Then we're gonna blend the rest of this up. Blend it up, blend it up. So this one is halfway done. Sometimes when you filling it, you move the hairs around. And that's kind of what the wax is for, to keep them in place. But I just prefer not to use the wax. I'll just brush them hairs right back into place. So, halfway there. I have a little gap right here because one of the last times I went to get my brows done, you could kind of see it. They try to be low and they just put a space in my brows, so I be having to fill it in extra so you don't see my little bald spot in my brows. I'm waiting for that to grow back. Alright. Now, take the concealer brush again and a little bit of concealer. And trace once again. And where I was telling y'all it grew in, I'm gonna kind of just go over those hairs with the concealer. Try to cover them up. All right, so y'all see my line of demarcation? That is what you don't want your eyebrows to look like, because I know y'all see them girls and they walk around and think they cute and you could clearly see where their concealer starts and stops. We don't do those. So go in with your dome brush from Real Techniques, or any, if you have a brush similar to this, it's just like a flat fluffy brush. Honestly, anything would do. If I really wanted to use the concealer brush to blend it out, I could just go in there and I'm messing up. See, this is what I get. No, I don't use this brush to blend. You could though. All you gotta do is blend it out. But this one just more flawless to me. So go in there. Yeah, blend. It's fluffy, but it has stiffness to it, so it's gonna get the job done. And just blend it out. Now, when I was trying to be doing the most, that concealer brush, I kind of pushed the concealer into my brow, so you could kind of see that. I'm gonna fix that. Only thing I do is take a little bit more powder, put it on that brush again, and go over that spot that I went too far in with the concealer. That fixes it. Then the tail needs some work too, so I'm gonna hit that up. So it's like you can't really mess up. There's always room to fix it. So I think that's better. I'm just going to blend upward so it's not a clear dark line down here. Just blend up a little bit. Alright, so I think my brows are pretty much on fleek. They look nice and natural. Like, if this is all I wanted to do, I'd be fine. Alright, y'all, so this is my first video. I hope y'all like it. If you like it, maybe you could share it, like it, comment, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. And maybe if I get decent feedback, I'll come back with more videos on different things. Like how to do my eyeshadow or face makeup, whatever. Just let me know if y'all like it or not. Bye.